And his opponent from the Isle of Samoa, the Samoa submission machine and your television champion, Samoa Joe!
As if this man, the reigning television champion, needed any excuse to be more intense, Magnus gave it to him. And Taz, Joe made the vicious vow, Joe is gonna kill you.
Yo, I had a conversation earlier today with Samoa Joe, a lengthy one at that, and the bottom line was what you just said, Todd. I mean, he wants to destroy, take out, put down Magnus. He knows Magnus is a threat for that coveted television title that Joe has. Tell you what, Magnus better be buckled up and ready to go. This is going to be a big-time battle here.
There you see what it's all about in our opening contest. Television title on the line. Look at the stare down between these two, such history, and they're not going to waste any time going right at it with the strikes.
Physicality, exactly what you would expect from these two. Former World Tag Team Champion partners, that relationship, that association, completely out the window. It's done, and this thing has kicked off. The importance of this TV title match tonight at Turning Point, you can see it already.
See, I don't know, if you're Magnus, you might not want to do this. You might not want to start going outside and get into a more or less a street fight with someone like Joe. But those punches, those shots.
Yeah, talk about it being in somebody's wheelhouse, but look at Magnus fighting back. He's really ignited a fire under the champion.
Sure has. It looked like Magnus was trying to get away. But you see how Magnus is complete control right now on the outside, but let's see if we can get him in the ring. He can't win the match on the outside, as the cliche goes.
Well, but they can be out there as long as they want, as the champion sends them into the stairs. And Taz, let me call on your expertise. Obviously, you've been in many, many matches in which anything goes. How do you prepare for a match like this?
There is no preparing. You got to go in with a kill or be killed attitude. And I think Joe's got that part covered.
You look at an experience edge in this match, and it goes to Samoa Joe. For almost 2 years, he was the Ring of Honor World Champion. When he came to TNA, when he joined this organization, he had an 18-month undefeated streak. Oh, look at Joe go airborne.
But when Joe gets rolling, so hard to defend, hits with the knee strike. Yep, that's why you're the professor. Into the cover now goes Samoa Joe. Only a count of two. What a way to kick things off. And we had that, great cause at the beginning with Buckethead and Bully Ray, and also, of course, Impact Wrestling, TNA, MakeAnImpact.com, President Dixie Carter, Hulk Hogan, raising money with those T-shirts as Samoa Joe flies with the flying knee there, Taz.
Yeah, it hit its mark, too. That shows the athleticism of someone, the size and the power, the intensity of our television champion. That massive head. He's got a head like a police horse. That headbutt he just gave him.
Police horse. I love it.
Agility there, though, by Magnus, who takes down the champion. And he is one of the few that has been able to match physicality with Samoa Joe, Mike.
Well, you've been so impressed, I think, like many people, with Magnus. First 5-6 years of his career, primarily a tag team wrestler, but now totally concentrating ever since the split with Samoa Joe on singles competition. And check this out. Repeated shots from Magnus.
Mike, let me ask you, you think that we saw that whole story evolve, what happened between Joe and Magnus, and it almost seemed like, to me, like Magnus felt like he was subservient to Joe during their reign as champions.
You know, with a guy that has an ego like Magnus, he's not going to allow that to happen, Taz.
Well, agreed. He comes back with his own high knee right there to show Joe, I got you covered, big boy.
Little taste of his own medicine there. And yeah, we've heard Mike Magnus mention in the past, I am the star. Do you think that perhaps he's jealous of the success, the singles title reign of Samoa Joe?
Well, it seems that way on the surface, that's for sure. Everything we've seen from Magnus, the way he reacts when he's under the gun, when the pressure is on, we have seen that. What a great strike from Samoa Joe. I think if there's anybody on the TNA Impact Wrestling roster that has an MMA-type style, it's Samoa Joe. We're seeing it with the strikes.
Look out here after the face wash. Another huge strike by Joe. And Magnus rolling to the outside. He's got to take a breather. He's been the recipient of an absolute onslaught here, Taz.
Well, sometimes that's the smartest thing to do, but look at Magnus out here. Got himself a weapon in like a steel chair, so unbeknownst to Samoa Joe right now.
No disqualifications, perfectly legal. Going long with the pass there and takes out the champ.
That hit its mark. What a shot right there. Joe down, not moving much at all. Let's take another look here, guys. Let's watch the impact pun intended, of the steel chair. Listen to it. Oh, man, that is steel meat and skull. Good luck.
Part of the pattern that we have seen developing, the way that Magnus reacts over the course of the past few months, that's legal because this is no disqualification. TD title at stake.
And Magnus riding a lot of momentum. Just this past week on Impact, he pinned Samoa Joe in that six-man tag. He might do it here and win the title. Only a count of one, says Brian Stifler. And Magnus, you see the frustration starting to mount.
Well, that could hurt. That could hurt Magnus. If he lets that rent space in his head, that will hurt him in this match with Joe. But you see Smart get himself a version of a key lock up top on the left arm of Joe.
And Mike, to take a trip back into history, you'll recall it was towards the end of the Bound for Glory series that Magnus really went after the arm of Samoa Joe, using a chair to just decimate the champion.
Yeah, and we saw again tonight, Magnus not afraid to take the low road, but tonight it's legal.
Nice counter there by Magnus. He measures him, but Joe catches him. Inverted atomic drop, and the champ is rolling again. Takes him down with the big boot. Senton on the way, but nobody home there.
Quickness by Magnus to get him. Look at that. Beautiful snap.
Into the cover. Is he going to get him?
Very close right there. Samoa Joe almost got the win. Would have retained his title.
And Taz is somebody who is so known for those quick throws. How impressive is that quick power slam by Joe?
Well, it just shows his timing. Wait, look at this guy. Ooh. Well, this is going to turn this into a beautiful
STF.
STF, and he's got it cinched in. I wanted to see if he got his hands clasped across his face, but he did. My sunglasses are too dark. But, but right now, it looks like Magnus, the bottom rope, would be his best friend, and that breaks the hold.
What a great array of submission holds Samoa Joe has. Hence the nickname, the Samoan submission machine. Fortunately, Magnus able to get the rope break.
All right, Magnus, though, countering there with the strike. It just seems like he's got an answer for everything Samoa Joe does. And look at this, trying to steal a page out of his playbook. He was looking for the coquina clutch, and now that deep arm bar, and he's got the champion in the center of the ring. Could you imagine if he beats him by submission here?
Referee right on top of the action to see if Samoa Joe is going to tap. Taz, I have to admit, I'm surprised that Magnus is trying to beat Samoa Joe at essentially his own game.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not too sure about that, but it's working right now. He's got himself a Juji Katami, or what some would call a cross arm breaker, but Joe clasping his hands, preventing that offer being extended. It's got him stacked, though.
Into the cover there goes Joe, was able to defend a series of submission attempts by the champion.
Boom!
By the wow. Another huge strike there. Good night.
You are not kidding, Todd. That beautiful job right there by Joe to leave his base and just drill Magnus. But now, Joe's got to get a cover.
A little slow to capitalize here, Mike.
You know, Samoa Joe trying to get back into the game here, able to hit that one quick strike, turn the tide in his favor, and now Samoa Joe going to try and take advantage. Could it be? You know what?
Oh, this is right where Joe wants him. He's got him hooked. He's thinking muscle buster here. But again, these two know each other quite well, and he counters up with another huge strike.
It's really the key here, the familiarity of these two men. Tag team partners for a lengthy time period here. They know each other so well. That's why counters are important.
Again, going to the eyes there, Taz. Perfectly legal.
No, you got to do what you got to do. I mean, and I oh, another knee right there. I don't know if it hit him in the sternum or the jaw. I couldn't really tell. Don't waste time, Magnus. Do whatever you got in mind, man. Go for it.
Well, there was no feeling out process in this one. They went at it from the opening bell. This is beat him on Thursday. Pinpoint elbow strike. If he covers the champion here, history might be made on Turning Point. Whoa, how close was that?
Shows that heart, that fortitude by Joe to have the wherewithal to kick out of that insane elbow right there.
All right, I think we're going to take another look at that elbow drop. Take it, Taz.
Yeah, look at that, just the point of the elbow right across the sternum. Great job right there by Magnus, but hey, man, tip your cap to Joe for kicking out of that.
And Mike, after that, was it just me, or did the eyes look very glassy of the champion?
Yeah, the champ looked like he was rocked, but the quick recovery here by Joe as he's able to connect with another one of those strikes. You know, we had the Bellator fighters here recently at the Impact Zone, and they were so impressed with the way that Joe's been able to integrate the MMA style into his professional wrestling resume. Oh, how about the power?
Huge power display there by the challenger, returning the favor for the earlier power slam. But what can he do here, Taz, to put him away?
Well, I don't know. That remains to be seen. I don't have that answer. That driver definitely worked to put Joe down by Magnus. Maybe he's going for another elbow. I'm not quite sure.
It worked the first time. He said that's going to do it. Oh, history's going to be made. He's going to get him this time. Oh, no. Not a lot of daylight between the referee's hand and the mat there, Mike.
That time, Magnus closer. The time that he hit the elbow drop off the top, directly into the pin. There was no recovery period where he allowed Joe just that breather. Joe able to kick out nonetheless.
Great point, Mike. That's exactly what happened. As that elbow hit on top cover, Joe now trying to fight up. Both men trying to fight up, actually.
Listen to this crowd in the impact zone.
Our live audience split. Man, any more of those punches by Magnus is going to split open Joe's jaw.
So much respect here in the impact zone for both of these great warriors, but only one man will be the television champion at the end of this war. Here comes Joe. Out of the way is Magnus, full head of steam. ST Joe out of the corner.
Love that, man. Nothing but smash mouth style right there by Joe. And Magnus, very intelligent to get out of there and regroup.
And again, as we have seen in the past, things are not going Magnus's way. He's going to take the low road again. He's got the chair.
Uh-oh, though. Here comes Samoa Joe. He does! Oh, wow! Taking out the challenger. Incredible athleticism by the big man.
Just one massive, giant Samoan showing insane athleticism, wiping out the challenger for his television title. That was damn impressive. Look at this. Look at that.
I like the way that Joe improvised in mid-move. So many times when we see Joe go flying, he goes through the ropes. He likes to use that elbow suicida. This time, instead, he went up and over the top and caught Magnus completely unaware.
Yep, got to switch up the offense to keep your opponent guessing, and especially when you're facing somebody that knows you so well and your offensive arsenal. Joe looking to set him up for the muscle buster yet again.
Oh, he's going to get it here. He's going to get him locked up here, boys. He's got him locked up.
Nowhere to go, but is that going to be enough? Here's the cover. 1, 2. No! I was ready to call it, Mike. I thought for sure this championship match had come to an end.
And so did Samoa Joe, judging by the look on his face.
Yeah, Joe's shocked. Joe's shocked. That's just everybody, us three and everybody else.
How bad does the champion want it? How bad does the challenger want it? He's telling Joe, come get some more. Oh my goodness, look at that sign language.
And then he told Joe, bring it. Joe's bringing it, all right. Well, why did that choke?
This is how he beat him at Bound for Glory. The Coquina clutch, center of the ring. Magnus is grasping for the official here.
He's got the hooks in. Forget it. He's got him locked up tight in the middle.
Well, I think you're right. Ring positioning is the key for the Samoan submission machine. Magnus, he's hanging on right now, but for how long?
Is he going to tap or is he going to go out here? If the arm drops here 3 times, this one's going to be over. Oh, no, look at that. It is over. He's out.
Your winner and still television champion, Samoa Joe.
Dominant title defense, but what a war that was. You know, Magnus was game. He was up to the challenge, but he just could not defend the Coquina clutch.
Oh, no shame in that. No shame in that if you're Magnus. I mean, that was a hell of a contest. Just got caught with that choke.
All right, we're going to relive some of the action, and boy, there was a lot of it.
Well, yeah, it was back and forth, per se. I mean, you just see both these men, the disdain and hatred for each other. And that right there, I thought might have been it for Joe, that huge chair shot. But Samoa Joe just kept bringing the offense. How about this elbow? Also stuffed it by Magnus. Not enough, though.
That was the near fall. You saw the escape by Samoa Joe. Boom! Joe saw Magnus coming in the corner. Again, familiarity of these two men, and then the way that Joe improvised when he went flying over the top.
At the end of the day, the muscle buster. And once that thing landed, we thought it was over, and it wasn't enough. But I definitely think it weakened him once Joe was able to hit that choke, and the muscle buster added to this victory, I believe. Great job, great match.
What a match. Let's head to the back with JB. All right, I'm told that